Welcome everybody to an all-new episode of SCNS Live. I am Jason the X.
Yeah.
Because I'm hosting. JK, I don't know if I tricked you. My name is Kat. I'm excited to do this show, but right at the top, I don't do it by myself. Who are you?
My name's Cass.
Nice to meet you.
Happy National Hug and High Five Day.
And video games.
And Video Game
Yes.
Day.
It's much more joyous holiday than yesterday. But you know,
Anyway.
video games. And behind the board, not having to do anything because of how gorgeous we already are, is...
Funny story, I got to fly yesterday, which is, you know, a little bit in your mind. Just a wee bit.
Ooh, yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Just got back from Chicago, I had to go up for work, and pretty cool town.
I like Chicago.
I could have bought some more stuff while I was up there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm confident that the sound is good, so I'm going to turn these off now. Oh.
But
Huh?
They have this, like...
Am I muted?
I don't know. I'm like super far away from your face.
No, I could totally hear myself.
All right.
I guess if
I
some...
can always hear Jason.
Yeah, I know. I don't really have a problem being heard, but yeah.
He will shout to the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Plus, this is like the good mic. Anyway.
And he's
No,
free.
it was,
Just invite him over to your house.
It was
He'll
a
bang on
busy
your
week.
door.
I could have probably lightened up my camera a little bit, but I was worried about everybody else's. But yeah, so no Cora this week. She is all having some fun, as she is allowed to have.
We're not
Where's
having
the
fun.
dual
We're
cam? There we go,
here.
dual cam, yeah. There's fun here. Well, she doesn't drink. So, I mean,
And neither do we.
no,
No,
nobody
she
would ever
just
do
sucks
that.
in water through her skin.
Just absorbs like
like
Dune
a-
or something.
Yeah.
Kind of infinite
I made a
being.
Dune reference. How
I mean,
about
I'm
that?
very proud of you.
Won't be the last one tonight.
Oh boy.
That's a little teaser for you guys out there.
Is
It's
it?
been a pretty good week. It's been pretty okay, like a month. There was a debate this week. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh no, I said we saw Alien Romulus.
We
You
saw-
and me.
The important stuff.
I-
We saw Alien
We
Romulus.
saw Alien Romulus. It was so good.
I want to
Freaking
go
loved
see
it.
it
It was so
because,
good.
but unfortunately, my wife is not about
My
that.
wife.
She is not about that. She does not want to see it, and I understand why.
It's
Because
really scary.
it's the same. Well, it's the face huggers. Cannot.
Yeah.
Don't even like the thought of them.
The face hugger, I don't like that. I was very proud of how they did trailers for this movie.
Yeah.
The trailers don't reveal very much about what the movie's actually about.
Yeah.
There's a lot of surprises.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see that it was actually good. I have to go check it out.
It was so good.
It was like a video game or a D&D campaign. Stuff just keeps happening.
Yeah. At one point, I was curled up in the fetal position with hands on either side of my face, just cringing away because it was. I thought it was terrifying. It was so good.
Which is not something we're
Okay,
kind
it's
of
happening this weekend. It's
horror
happening.
aficionados,
Yeah.
and like it was the scariest one by
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
to me.
I mean, I've never liked them because I don't like things that swarm. So Aliens was
Oh
like my.
yeah, there's definitely swarming.
Oh no. I don't
There's
like.
also a very particular Star Wars reference that you might get.
I like me some Star Wars.
There's a Space Odyssey 2001
There's a Space
reference.
Okay,
Odyssey
I'm totally gonna go
reference.
see it. All right,
There's
so
definitely Easter eggs to other alien movies in there
so
as well.
it's.
But it
worth
is guaranteed to make you uncomfortable.
It's great.
I don't care
I
what
loved
your
it.
triggers are. You're going to feel uncomfortable with some of the stuff.
The light
But
shining
you
through.
mentioned Star Wars, and
Yeah.
you gotta.
I did mention Star Wars. I wore a Darth Vader shirt tonight as a tribute. James Earl Jones did pass. I feel more at peace with
94.
this kind of. Like, I miss him, the incredible presence. But, you know...
It's easy because I mean the man was 93 years old and literally a legend in his own time. Like has been
And knew it.
just in the acting scene for the
Yeah.
longest time and played some of the most iconic characters out there. And you know, 93 that's a good run. That's a really good run.
And, like, it seemed like he had put all his stuff kind of in order.
Yeah.
Within like the last year, he
Yeah.
reportedly signed over certain rights to Disney to allow
use
them
his,
to AI
voice in
him. But like
perpetuity,
it seemed like he
basically.
was getting affairs in order. So I
Yeah.
like to hope that he was at peace and had done everything.
I was watching a scene from The Big Bang Theory the other day where he plays pranks on Carrie Fisher, and apparently they had not met before that.
And she's
scene.
kind of
Decades.
crazy.
Some of his co-stars, I've read a story about it this week. Some of his co-stars didn't meet him for decades. When he did Star Wars,
Yeah.
just the first one,
Yeah.
he got paid $7,000 for 2.5 hours of work total in one day.
Wild.
They did, and then
He
he
came
said
in, he dropped it, and then he left.
2.5 hours one day. Took that fee, and he was like, and I thought it was a pretty good flick.
That's good.
He was like, so when I came in to do Empire, the first day was nothing but us being like, what did we do that worked so well? And how do we replicate that? And it was a lot about not doing too much emotion and stuff. But it was just really sweet to read. He was like, I mean, it sounds like I got paid nothing, but it's a pretty good payday
And that is good pay.
for 2.5 hours.
For voice
one
work,
day.
yeah.
I don't think I've made $3,000 an hour.
Yeah, no, I'm topping out, I'm ashamed to say, at 3 figures an hour max that I've ever made.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Absolute legend. Love him. Miss him.
And I'm at peace with it. I hated to hear it, but you know, because I love Star Wars, man.
And the Lion King.
It'll be nice. It'll be nice that his voice is going to continue on.
I also love sneakers.
Yeah. I like that the signing over of it was his choice because, again, very much support voice actors, and he was an actor in all ways, but like voice actors and getting to choose.
And of course, one that like anything he did, you heard that's James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
This is CNN.
Yeah.
Like, like James Earl Jones.
I was thinking about it. Yeah, like it's so I don't know how they stumbled into him and the sound of the like that's just the most genius, simple combination. Iconic. I love it.
He'll be missed, and the legacy stands.
Yeah. So that happened this week. Anybody else's? Anything else cool happened this week?
Absolute scared out of me.
Okay, like I said, my week was pretty busy. Not a lot was done. You know, found some nice toy stores up in Chicago, with vintage stuff, and got this new Judge Dredd figure, which is it really is.
Have you done a review? You should do a review
I
of
should
it.
probably do a review of that.
It's nice to see some other toy
welcome
makers
content on the channel.
mixing
So
it
yeah,
up.
I definitely do want to review that. It's from a company called Hyatt Toys. It's a very good Dredd, and I've got some Mezco Judge Dredds, and I'd love to put a head-to-head on them. So, but yeah, Chicago, good city. Salt Lake City might be next. So we'll see what's there.
You know what's wild about you is you can point to where any figure is. Like, how?
Oh, I can.
Yeah, you're like, I have some of these over here, and I'm like, how do you know?
I think I actually.
Where's Spider-Man?
There's 3 right there. There's one on this shelf over here. That whole shelf is Spider-Man. That's all the ones in the room.
This is great content for people who can't see the room.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's interesting. But,
Can Jason find all of his toys that
Yeah.
are displayed in the room?
yeah,
Likely
I
I
think
could.
we need a zoomed out.
In
version if
what,
we
three-
had
in-
that.
360 cameras.
3 seconds or less. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Anyway,
It'll be
that's all.
short content on the channel. We can do a short video on it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or we'll just take one a week until he can.
No,
meet
no,
in
y'all don't do
person.
that. Don't do that. Stop moving my stuff. I know you did.
We did.
Stop it.
We didn't move all of it. Anyway, so we're gonna get off to some super cool nerd news.
Speaking of things that Kat loves, Ian McKellen.
I do love Ian
announced-
McKellen.
Ian McKellen announced this week that the Hunt for Gollum movie that they're talking to him about might be split into 2 movies. I cannot even begin to tell you how much I don't want to see 2 different movies about Gollum hanging out in the wilderness, because we know Gollum's story. We know Smeagol's story pretty much start to finish, from the time he takes the ring to when he dies. We have a nice little prologue in Return of the King, so not only is this already an unnecessary movie, now it might be unnecessary movies. Also, thank you so much for learning your lesson with The Hobbit. when you split it into too many movies. A story that did not deserve 3 movies, and now you're doing it again with Gollum. I'm really hesitant about this movie, guys, and I'm obviously a huge Lord of the Rings fan.
I have to say that, like, we knew this story already isn't a good reason not to make a Lord of the Rings movie.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you know this, they was published before. Like, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
But they made the trilogy, and you like it, and I don't understand.
I do. I'm so hesitant about this movie, guys. Like, and Andy Serkis is heavily involved.
I mean, there you go. That's a win right there.
That is a win. But, like, I don't care what Gollum was doing. This, to me, this feels similar to Joker in that I don't want this story. From the get-go, I don't want to hear it. So, like, they're going to have a rough battle to get me even vaguely interested.
Okay.
And
Challenge accepted.
I was flat out shocked by this because what she was referring to, I don't like the movies.
Okay.
The Lord of the Rings movies. And we'll maybe have a fight about that online at some point. Watch them again. Yeah, like, I don't like the movies. I don't get them. So when I was talking to her about this, and I was like, oh yeah, they're making Gollum, and she's like, ugh. And I was like, no, what? That's how I feel about all of them.
It is kind of a weird thing. Like,
it's just like, ugh.
When the whole
and I'm like,
battle of the anime came up, you were like all excited about that.
I'm okay with that.
So you're not like
but that's like several hundred years removed.
Okay, what about the Amazon series?
No.
You're like, they
look so cheap.
They didn't learn their lesson with The Hobbit. I'm like, what about the original trilogy of movies? That's like 14
story to be 3 movies. There's stuff happening the whole time.
There's not stuff happening the whole time.
Yeah, when they're having that drink in the prancing pony, that is a seminal scene.
They needed 46 minutes worth of endings at the end of the last one. They could have been.
But to be the last ending, we'll talk about it.
Faster
I think it could be fun. I think it could be entertaining.
We need to get this whiteboard thing going. I want to announce a new show format we have coming out in the near future. We're going to start doing kind of specials.
Just like making announcements here?
Yeah. Specials called...
What?
I haven't cleared this with the EP of the show. We're going to start it next week on Thursday.
What about the editor-in-chief? That's my official title.
No.
EP's higher.
Oh, executive producer? Oh.
Yeah, you're the EP of the show.
Yeah, EP's higher.
Oh.
That's why you have to pay for the Airbnbs.
I thought it was like El Diablo Macho.
No. So we're going to do, every once in a while, a different style Thursday night show, I think. And we're calling it SCNS Showdown. We are going to fight. We're going to have long-form fights about certain things. And the first one, starting next week, is the Batman.
I got to train.
And it's going to be a tag team match.
There's going to be a montage.
It's going to be a tag team match.
Because Christian wants to partner up with you.
With me?
To do pro Batman.
To do pro the Batman movie.
The Batman movie. And Cass and I are going to do...
Okay.
We'll get into more details offline. But we're going to do a tag team showdown of an episode and fight out this Batman thing.
I want like a montage of me and Christian like at the gym, like training,
like punching meat, punching bags of meat like Rocky.
No, hitting like a Batman dummy, like a stuffed toy or something. Get him again.
And you guys are going to get to vote on who wins.
Okay.
I'm so excited about this.
Oh man,
this is the format like we want to do every once in a while for these big fights. We can't hash out Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. There's going to be some people angry with me, I tell you. Because Batman's inherently terrible. But anyway.
You watch the movie.
Huh? You like the movie.
Movie.
I like the Batman movie.
That's what we're fighting about is the Batman movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can do this.
And we'll get into more details, but liked or hated.
Bring it. So it's going to be the two of y'all, like.
Two of anti the Batman movie because we both hated it.
It's like, in what world do we now exist in? Like, where y'all are the ones. I got to defend Batman, and y'all are crapping on. Wow.
That's how I felt coming out of Ragnarok because I was liking the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I came out of Ragnarok like, this is the one that other people like? This one?
Yeah.
Because I hated Ragnarok.
I do too.
It was like, I don't understand the world anymore. And then about 40 minutes into the Batman movie, I leaned over to Kath. I was like, oh God.
All right, well, it's on then. Okay, cool.
I don't like it. Anyway.
So we will fight about Lord of the Rings later. It is patently ridiculous to split The Hunt for Gollum into 2 movies.
We're going to get a whiteboard to track upcoming fights
got
that we need to have.
somewhere.
This is going to be
Anyway.
so fun. There will be stakes. We will do things. But yeah, so they're splitting
Stakes?
Gollum into
Oh,
2 movies.
yeah.
I don't care more or less than I did before. I couldn't care less. But yeah, anybody else who has movie news? Movie stuff, movie stories.
Oh, I do actually. I had to think about that for
Oh,
a
he's
second.
going to participate, y'all.
Well, I'm trying to I got some stuff here.
Yeah.
So Marvel Studios has been a little bit hit or miss these days. Maybe they were stretching themselves a little too thin, but unfortunately, as with most properties, you make plans, you want to do stuff, and sometimes things fall through. And likely the rumor is going around that Armor Wars and the Blade movie are on the chopping block to not be done. This, hang on, I got my notes here. I'm just
The
trying to get
Blade
to
movie? Are you kidding me?
I know, which is amazing considering that they did just reintroduce Wesley Snipes as Blade. But
He looks pretty good.
I did announce on the show like a couple weeks ago that Marvel was going to be scaling back properties, and a lot of things that were planned were not going to happen. Well, the rumor is that both of these projects are slated. They were slated to come out at the end of the year.
Yeah.
They're not going to.
Right.
Because none of them has started filming. Blade still doesn't have a script. Blade still doesn't have a director. So it's likely that these are the ones that are going to go on the chopping block. I will say, as a person of color, it's a shame that it's these 2 movies that drop. But another indicator was Don Cheadle was making an appearance on a show, and someone asked him about Armor Wars, and he said, "What's Armor Wars?" And people were like, "Ah, ha, 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 that's so funny." And then he went into a little bit damage control-y on it. And I've been waiting to see Armor Wars because it was going to be basically Rhodey chasing down the legacy of Tony and people taking his tech. Supposedly, Ironheart was going to be in there. They were going to cross paths at some point. But he was also going to go after people that he believed were stealing Tony Stark's tech. It's kind of Tony did this story in the comics where he went after people who he thought appropriated his technology, and even coming across some that did not take his tech. And I wanted that story, but that's the insider. We don't know for sure. I want to say this is a rumor. This comes from a couple of inside people, but I will note that Blade has experienced a lot of issues. This movie has failed to get off the ground so many times, different directors, different writers. The only thing that we really know is that it was announced 4 years ago, and Marshall Ali has not stepped onto a set to film this. This should have been a slam dunk. But the Armor Wars, unfortunately, it's looking like this is too big of a project, because at first it was going to be a television series on Disney+. Right. Then they said, oh, it's good enough to be a movie, which also could have played into maybe it would have cost us more to do that. Because if you're doing Iron Man, you're doing suits. You're doing a lot of special effects. Those suits are going to be moving around. You're going to have the War Machine armor, all of the intricate pieces moving. So, yeah, it's looking like Armor Wars, and I hope I'm wrong. I really wanted both of these movies. Also, why'd you have to drop these 2? Drop Agatha all along. No one cares.
I really don't.
I think I care enough to maybe check it out because of the people in it.
Like Aubrey and
And Catherine something.
Huh.
Yeah.
I was excited about both of these projects. I watched Blade for the first time in the last 3 weeks. And really, really liked it, actually.
Yeah, it's really solid.
It was very, very different than what we think of today as like superhero movies, but I really liked it. I was really interested.
Oh, the first Blade laid the groundwork for everything that we have in Marvel. It saved Marvel Comics from bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And from start, I mean, talk about a movie that like at the moment grabs you. to introduce a character as well.
Yes.
One of the best openings of any movie,
Yeah.
period.
And I was really interested to see Mahershala's take.
I know, yeah.
And I liked Riri. I thought she was very underutilized in Black Panther 2.
And we're still getting Ironheart.
Yeah,
And-
but like I was interested to see her, especially interact with Rhodey. And I thought they just didn't build her character very well, and I was interested to see how she developed. And yeah, we're still getting Ironheart, but I was really interested to see her.
Like, granted, like, he kind of joked around, like, when he said, like, what's Armor Wars? He was
Maybe
like,
it's just very
if I tell you I gotta kill you, ha ha ha. But there was something there that I went, like,
Yeah,
like instant, like, fear.
yeah.
And he was like, it's okay. Is it? Is it? So, 2 properties I was actually excited for. I hope they don't make it onto the chop block. Anything maybe delayed
Yeah.
if it's not in budget.
I feel like with Blade, like there's enough of an audience, but there's also a few stars who are very passionate about it. Like, I feel like they would push back. I hope that they're like, hey, no, we want to make this.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I have so much respect for Blade because it also was like, hey, we can do a vampire thing with superheroes.
Yeah.
And so kind of brought it into more like the fantasy realms for areas too.
And like one of the things that was said at one of the Marvel events, the Investor Day event actually, Nate Moore, who's a Parliament member of Marvel Studios, said our Disney Plus shows are awesome and we love them, but the budgets are not the same as the features. That's not secret. And when you're talking about a show that wants to be about seeing all the cool armors and Don Cheadle interacting with all these armors and the legacy of Tony Stark, that became cost prohibitive to do it as a show, which is why they moved to a movie. The other part of that was the events of Secret War were supposed to play heavily into Armor Wars. And we all know that Secret Wars, it wasn't that good. I'm a Marvel fanboy. I was not that good. Especially for Nick Fury to turn around in the Marvels and be a completely different character.
They also got dinged pretty heavy during that show about their CGI.
Mm.
And skin is a lot harder than mechanical stuff to get right in CGI. That is true, but still.
One of the biggest criticisms I have of Marvel currently is that, like, they don't seem to believe that they should need to ever spend less money on anything ever. There's ways to do great CGI and great everything and not blow the budget through the roof. You tell the story differently.
Yeah.
And I'm a little mad. They're like, well, it was too expensive. And it's like, and we didn't look in any way at making it some cheaper before just ditching it.
Now, my final point on that, though, is I do have hope because Blade was going to get an R rating.
Yeah.
R rating brought money in with Deadpool and Wolverine.
Did it?
Yeah. They needed that shot of cash.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
So, might give hope for that series because, hey, we had success with one R rating.
Yeah.
Disney is known for that when we struck
Let's
that,
chase
Yeah.
that.
go for that. So yeah, I'm hoping this isn't true, but I had to note it because
I mean, I'm really proud of Deadpool and Wolverine for, like, Ryan Reynolds kind of being like, no, we don't want to fully integrate them. We don't want to water down Deadpool to be family friendly, and you don't want all your Marvel movies forever to be rated R. There's room for both of these demographics, and I hope they stay with it.
#1 R-rated movie.
Yeah, like, anyway.
So hopefully the rumors are true, but yeah, if we keep talking about it, it'd be harder for them to cancel it.
Yeah, so get in the chats, get online, petition them.
I want my damn Armor Wars.
So, speaking of movies, one of the ubiquitous kind of experiences in movies is popcorn. We all love popcorn. Cass loves it every once in a while. I don't know if you guys know this, but in certain areas, I think it was AMC's, they did a special Romulus popcorn bucket. And it's kind of wild. It's like a xenomorph's head and it opens up and you can put popcorn in it. And that was a special thing. I don't really get the whole popcorn bucket thing, but yeah, it became the online sensation of sorts. Yeah, no, I don't get this specialized popcorn bucket. Like, it was food waste already. Like, why? But yeah, So that happened, and there's a new TikTok trend because of this. I don't know if you guys remember, but when Dune came out, Dune had a fancy popcorn bucket as well, with a like sandworm thing, which watching Zendaya talk about it is hysterical. She's like, yeah, but you can't get the popcorn out because if you reach in, it kind of scrapes all the you get one kernel, and it's like, I'm here to eat popcorn.
That
Well,
is
the
gross.
TikTok trend involves taking these two items and putting them together in the most lewd mixing of popcorn I've ever seen.
I'm
It's
sorry,
kind
what?
of. We can't play it on the show.
I mean, it
But-
already looks like a.
If you close the lid on that, then the xenomorph's head,
Back part of head.
back part of head, kind of fits. Yeah.
Does it fit in it repeatedly?
It kind of fits all the way, and then you kind of pull it back, and then you could just
Then you
check
get it.
that fit. And like, these TikTok videos are hilarious. It is the most elementary joke I've ever seen. It's just a bunch of kids going.
I mean, the Dune one already looked like the name of a product I'm not gonna say on this show.
A product?
Yeah.
Oh,
a skin of
personal
illumination.
protection.
Personal, yes.
Yeah.
It already looked like that, so I'm not surprised. And the Xenomorph's head was always a little bit
Phallic.
phallic. So, like, this was
Any,
always
any
gonna
opportunity
happen.
to say, oh no, I saw it in my head, I can't, oh.
And there's like, both of them have skin tone elements.
Yes.
So there's
I
a
mean-
lot of stuff going online. Don't you turn on your
I'm going
private
to.
your privacy settings,
Yeah.
and it's there. It's all very NSFW. It is funny. I'm
think I need to
sorry.
call
There's
an
an
adult.
elementary joke here, and just kids being like
is
adults being like.
extremely juvenile, and I support it 100%.
Oh.
But yeah, keep eating that popcorn, kids. Speaking of popcorn,
If you go to Cinemark on October 11th, you can get a new popcorn bucket based on Terrifier 3 and Art the Clown. If you haven't seen it, okay, first of all, if you haven't seen a Terrifier movie, if you watch Saw and go, I could have had more, then go watch a Terrifier movie. These are extremely gory, extremely violent. They're not very nice to women.
like we all love.
Like the horror that we all love, truly. I will say, it's not surprising that they got a third movie. The first movie's budget was $35,000, and they got $416,000 back. The second movie's budget was $250,000, and they got back $15 million. So we're working with like purge numbers of exponential amount that you spend on your budget. Yeah, this is Art the Clown. I'm not gonna lie, part of me kind of wants one of these because I do. I don't know. He's got a little Santa hat on.
We'll put that in the list of things that don't go in the living room.
Ever.
Oh, like my my Tomie poster.
Your Tomie
that I got right
poster.
here.
And my Ash puppet has to
Yeah.
go in the living room because he
That
can't
thing needs to
sleep
go in
in
a
my
closet.
bedroom.
I do not want to open my closet ever and see that figure looking at me.
It's a problem being a horror fan and
is a
loving
problem.
the imagery and being like, oh, maybe not.
Yeah, absolutely terrifying, which is largely the point in the Terrifier movie. Terrifier 3 comes out October 11th.
I'm excited. I like their kind of low budget,
Yeah.
like vibes and approach. Just kind of like just being a kid and being very scared of is what it makes me feel like. It's just that.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the actor that plays Art the Clown. I enjoy his work, though.
I do too.
He's-
David Howard Thornton.
Okay, I really like what he does with that character.
He's quite good.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Are they getting they're getting a full wide release on Cinemark?
I don't think it's all theater, but like, yeah, it's pretty wide release.
I don't think they had a Cinemark run for any of the other ones. So
No,
good for them.
Yeah. Not any of the three, actually, because it started with a short.
Oh
Yeah, I think
Well,
it's the first
yeah, but-
full, theatrical release.
Cinemark doesn't do a ton of short showings though. But yeah, shorts are the way that horror gets made. It feels like anymore.
Yeah.
Like
For sure, for sure.
happy that horror is still doing a lot of like original
Yeah.
content, even like in a sequence like this. But yeah, anybody else got movies?
I'm pivoting to. I got video games and TV left.
Let's do TV first.
Okay. You want me to go for
Yeah,
that?
go ahead.
Okay.
We'll pivot to
I'm gonna
you and
try
TV.
to do this because there's a tail on my chest now.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually a review. This week, like I said, I did fly up to Chicago, which gives me some time to catch up on some TV. And I got to watch the new Terminator Zero series, which was very good. It's been out for just over 2 weeks now. One of my issues with the Terminator series was if you keep going back, you're going to start, and they even acknowledged it in some of the later movies, that you're kind of creating new timelines and messing with the past and the future. This show fully embraces that and talks about that fatal flaw of keeping going back in time and coming forward and sending this one back, because there was always the thought, like, if one Terminator didn't do the job, you send another one right after that.
Sure.
But now the timeline has changed. Maybe it's Sarah Connor isn't the hero anymore. Maybe it's someone else. Maybe Judgment Day starts at a different time. Maybe they prevent it. Maybe you just kick the can down the road. And this series completely explores that. And I really like. Also, it puts us like one of the things we never really see is what's happening during Judgment Day.
Right.
Yeah.
We get that.
Oh.
And also the animation is beautiful. But the series, I had it up on my computer here. But the Terminator is played by Timothy Olyphant.
What?
What?
Yes! Yes!
What?
Let me get this cast up here. Because this is a really good cast. You had Timothy Olyphant as the Terminator. This is the English cast, by the way. I watched it dubbed, not dubbed, not subbed. Sonoya Mizuno is our resistant soldier that we get in there. But we've got Andre Holland, who's been in a bunch of TV, and he plays one of the lead characters in there. Rosario Dawson provides a prominent voice in the series. Yeah, and when you hear it, it's like, oh, Ann Dowd, actress, is in there. But yeah, a really good cast, and 3 of them are younger people who do a really good job, by the way. I thoroughly enjoyed the series, especially something that I've been questioning with the Terminator series. If you're going to address that now, yes, I'm all about it. It's actually getting some pretty high marks as well. It's 8 episodes long. They're about 20, 30 minutes per, so easily digestible. The flight to Chicago is like 2 hours. So I saw all of it going up there and all of it coming back.
Where is it?
Netflix right now.
Okay.
But it was condensed to a point where, honestly, I would have wanted this to be a full-length movie. It didn't need to be broken up. It could have been a lot, but it would have been a bit longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was iffy going in because Terminator series lately they've been hit or miss.
Yeah.
Let me go to I never shift over because I'm talking. Yeah, this really caught on to something that I've been questioning about the Terminator series. Expanded on it. Great animation.
Yeah.
Absolutely great animation, great voice acting. So as far as that, really good.
I will say, if some of those names sound familiar but you don't know off the top of your head who they are, Ann Dowd, if you watched Hereditary,
Yes.
it's the lady that she meets and talks to her grandson. Sonoya Mizuno, if you watch House of the Dragon, she is, what is her name? The White Worm, I think? She's...
I'll take your word for it, I haven't watched it.
She's Rhaenyra's Master of Whispers.
And then, of course, Timothy Olyphant, Justified, and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah. And Rosario Dawson is perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
Andre
Perfect
Holland,
woman.
he's been in the Nick, the Cinemax series, American Horror Story, Roanoke, he was in that. He was in The Eddie, it's a musical drama that was on Netflix. But I've seen a couple things he's in, and really, really good actor.
Yeah.
And you needed that voice driving a lot of the story. And just, it's got layers and reveals in this, like you think you know where it's going. Like, oh, Terminator goes back, gotta send somebody back to kill the Terminator. No, it actually gets more into like the flow of the time and everything.
Which honestly feels like it should be a TV series in that case,
Yeah,
and
because
not a movie.
that's why I say it could not have been a movie.
Yeah.
I wanted all this detail.
Yeah.
I wanted all these little twists. So, absolutely worth checking out. Love the series. I'd give it. I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10, honestly.
Okay.
I know a lot of people too who are like subs, not dubs. I actually kind of usually need both when possible. Like I need to be able to read it as well as hear it. I have some auditory processing issues. And so I'm encouraged to see them like putting a lot into English dubs of things as well. So
Absolutely.
I can have both.
When it hooks you, it hooks you. So worth a watch. Definitely check it out. Even open to getting some more.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
I absolutely could.
Does it leave it open for season
Oh yes.
2? Okay.
I could use some more on this.
Okay. Nice.
So that's it for TV, right?
That's it for TV, I think. Yeah.
Video games. So, by the way, we don't usually talk about serious stuff, but there was a political debate this week, and so like it's kind of a hot topic to talk about that anyway. But bringing it to a nerd spin, which you know we love to do, I have a follow up on a story I did a few weeks ago. It is Crazy Taxi, Tim Walz edition. Is it?
Oh my God! Yeah,
Yes.
I'm playing it.
So, okay, so this is what happened, right? So Tim Walz was so obsessed with his Dreamcast in this game, Crazy Taxi, that his wife had to take and hide his Dreamcast because he was too much. And this is a long time ago. So it came out that happened when shortly after Kamala asked him to join her ticket, we started talking about that, and we thought that was really funny. So, someone named Edward LaBarbera did a mod of this game, making Tim Walz a character, and took a bunch of his voice lines from his DNC speeches, added Kamala, and made a playable mod, the Tim Walz edition of Crazy Taxi. This is awesome. It is not something that you can get everywhere. You have to do it via the Dreamcast emulator Flycast.
If you're Tim Walz and you played Dreamcast and Crazy Taxi so much, and your wife may have forced you to kick the habit, but now there's a version with you in it.
I think you have free reign to go back.
All right, look.
He's not doing anything else.
No, I don't think he's
Also,
busy
we're
right
not
now.
going back.
If he's going to be a political figure, you know what? No, he deserves his time. Let him play his Dreamcast. Let him have it.
I think for
This
him,
is pretty good. And also, Crazy Taxi is a fun game.
yeah. I was so happy with the voice lines that they picked. One of the last ones is him actually yelling, "You can sleep when you're dead." They just cherry picked things that he said.
It works.
It really does.
It's absolutely iconic.
Also
I'm
very
so happy
creative.
this happened.
And
Yeah.
Kamala saying, "No guardrails, no guardrails."
No, absolutely. The last thing I want to hear from a taxi driver.
Yeah.
And it's outstanding. I don't know that he would love to play this version, but I think it will mean a lot to him to see it.
If you put me in a video game, I'm playing that sucker till the lights go out.
If you could find your Dreamcast. Anyway, that happened
we
this
didn't
week.
hide it.
I thought that was awesome. But yeah, let me see. There are gameplay videos if you don't have, the option to do this. But let me see. Where can you find it? The campaign hasn't said anything for that.
I don't know that I would.
He's a public figure.
It's a weird thing.
He's a public figure. He can't say anything. I put you in a video. First off, I'd be like, Tim, I put you in a video game. The words you're looking for are thank and you.
Yeah.
I think
Now let me tell you my legislation that I want you to put through.
Yeah.
But if any politician was going to be like, "Oh hey, neat
yeah.
thing,"
Oh,
it
in
would
case
be
we didn't
Tim
say it,
Walz.
Absolutely.
did we say Happy National Video Game Day? We didn't say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I thought we said it just amongst ourselves.
I don't know. I'm not a modder. But yeah, you can find it, look it up. You can also just see gameplay videos online. I thought that was special. Who else has got video games?
I do have some video game news.
Go for it.
Okay, so this week we got to see the PS5 Pro Edition. And yeah, it's looking that way. So
It has everything that a PlayStation needs, right?
before we completely give our opinion, let's give the specs. Available November 7th, 2024. The price is going to run you $700 USD. This is going to have a 2 terabyte SSD. One controller, of course, is going to come with it. Astro's Playroom will be included, pre-installed.
Sorry.
And this console will be discless with the option to purchase the add-on disc drive separately for like $80.
Ugh.
Yeah, I know. Okay. No, stop.
Sorry,
Hold on.
sorry.
We get an upgraded GPU with this. 67 more compute units than the current PS5 console and a 28% faster memory. So faster rendering and making everything a lot smoother, of course. Powerful ray tracing, allowing them to be cast at double and triple the times the speed of the current PS5 console, and also AI-driven upscaling. So it's basically a machine that's going to learn when you need more power here to apply it better, yada, yada, yada. That's just the... also vertical stance sold separately. Hold on, I gotta get myself together here. As a guy that does love the PlayStation, but $700. Look, I just bought a PS5 not too long ago, and I got the digital edition because that's what was available. I would have preferred a disc edition, but you know, got to get it in my veins. I got that at the time. How are you not going to include a disc drive for $70?
That is what made me mad. And it makes me a snob too. I don't like the way things like adding the disc drive. I don't want to add the disc drive anyway. But also like, it's a mid-series upgrade. It should come with everything you need.
Now, and here's what I'm going to say. And Doc in the chat is saying not that much more money. It's correct. It is $200 more, but that's also another $80 that you have to tack on that to get the disc drive. It is a higher performing machine. If I bought a computer that was higher performance, I'm paying more money. I understand that. But honestly, looking at the specs, and I just named like the big ones. I don't want to get into like all of them.
Yeah.
I don't see it without a disc drive.
Yeah, like when I used to work at Apple, and you had like every year you'd come out with a new iPhone, right? And they had every other year was a significant aesthetic change to the way the iPhone looked, and in the in-between years, it's significant hardware upgrades. This is a hardware upgrade for PS5, but you didn't put all the hardware in, and that makes me mad.
And also, as someone that does a lot in computers, I work in IT, I do recognize SSDs are more stable and faster and less moving parts.
Significant.
I have had to come to terms with that. With everything I build and everything I see, it's just because that's the way it is. This is the way to go. Even my current digital PS5, I put a 2 terabyte in there. It took me all of 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Literally unscrew something. There was nothing there. Put it in the slot. Put a screw down, and I'm done. I'm running a 2 terabyte machine like that.
They're so much faster.
But with everything that's happening in the world, I want physical media. I've become less and less. This is the first all digital console I've ever bought. I've become less and less comfortable with digital gaming now that I own a digital system. Yeah. I do want a tangible copy in my hand.
And like, yeah, and their whole thing this year, you don't own the things you own if you have it digitally.
Terrifying to hear.
Like, that's terrifying. And also, for things that I love, I want to be able to have them forever. And the idea that, like, no, they could just be missing one day and whatever, it's just upsetting to me. So, yeah, I have God of War, physical copy, and Ragnarok.
Yeah,
physical copy.
2018 and Ragnarok.
And also, like, sometimes you're offline and you want to play something. And
I said something in jest to somebody else that just stung. It was like vicious mockery back at me, like someone reversed it. Because I saw someone was pre-ordering something. And I was like, the hell are you pre-ordering a digital game for? What, are they going to run out? And it was like, just like, bam, bam, I have pre-ordered digital games. I did it with Star Wars.
Wow.
My clown ass made a comment that hit me right back in the face.
what's funny is, having worked in technology, like, I was looking forward to getting rid of all physical media. I don't like physical media. It takes up space. You can lose it. You can break it.
I like Doc in here. He's like making some good points. I believe it was Apple MacBook, and you might know better.
Nice to see you, Doc.
Oh, that's somebody I know.
Oh yeah.
Oh, 2012.
Another brother.
Wasn't it 20? Oh,
Different brother.
Wasn't 2012 when MacBook went over to SSDs? Wasn't they were early adopters of it? I know.
They went with the MacBook Air was the first like inclusion,
Okay.
but also they stayed with spinning disk drives for quite a while, at least as the primary option, because when SSDs first came out, they were so small. But the Airs always had them. And I don't know when they completely converted, but it would have been not that long ago.
But I've had to come to. I mean, we had a drive failure on our computer. What was it, last year?
Yeah.
And it was a spinning hard drive. Yeah. That's more for me to smash with a sledgehammer too. I can smash an SSD with a regular household hammer. Big disk drive, I need at least like a mini sledge.
Yeah, they're not as. They also don't run as hot. They fail slower. They have a maximum rewrites that you can do, so they can fail eventually, but it's nothing compared to spinning. And like vibrations don't hurt them. Yeah. I found out with the iPod, they used to have an iPod Classic. It was a spinning drive that was huge, and motorcyclers would buy them because they could fit all their music on it, but the vibrations are bad for the hard drives. So they had a crazy high failure rates. And so they'd come in, they're like, I just want this.
Is that why I ruined my iPod back in the day?
Probably.
Because that was when I was in the Navy. Of course, I was a motorcycle rider, and I had my... Oh, man!
Yeah, the vibrations of the motorcycle are pretty bad for them. It's pretty rough. So they would want to get like an iPod like Nano, but the Nano only holds 16 gigs at the time, or
That's
whatever.
what my wife got me. She got me a Nano after that.
Yeah,
hey,
and the touches you could drop and they'd break, and they'd just be like, I just want the biggest one, and I'll pay however much to put a SSD in there, but you can't put an SSD in an iPod if it doesn't have... Anyway, it's wild. So yeah, SSDs, important. They're fast.
PS5 coming November, I mean, right for the video game season. I mean, if you still haven't gotten one, I mean, I do have a digital edition. Don't get me wrong. I don't think I'm buying the Pro.
We'll take a hand-me-down.
I know you will. I know you will.
That's the only reason I was excited. The only reason I was excited about this announcement is like the resales.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Of
they
the
will
last
be out
model.
there. They will be out there,
Will drive the market
especially for
pricing a
digital
little bit.
editions. So, it's something. It's something. You know, I might have to pray on this. You know.
The reason I think I'm most upset about it is like I'm an internal specs person. I bought the iPhone on the off like hardware upgrades because they had better cameras. So I'm mad at them because it should be a home run to do not an aesthetic upgrade, but a hardware upgrade. But you didn't do it all the way. You're nickel and diming people, and that makes me mad. Anyway, that's
upright
cool.
stand sold separately. Sold separately.
It's like your phone's not coming with chargers anymore.
It's guac. Guac is extra.
Like, no. Yeah, thanks Chipotle. Like,
it just comes with it. Your phone needs a charger. This needs the stand. Cass, do you have digital, or do you have video games, hardware or software?
There's probably a hard copy of this game, but not yet. If you want to buy a copy of this video game, well, if you want to get a copy of this video game, Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom got leaked online, the entire game.
Oh.
Yeah. It is due out September, I think, 25th or 26th. I just had it up. And the entire game got leaked online.
This
has been happening kind of more and more in recent years, where it's just the entire thing. And I guess update your blockings on your word blocks on any social media platform that you use, but it's another 2 weeks. September 26th. It's another 2 weeks until this game comes out, and there are going to be spoilers galore. There was already a pretty intense leak, I would say to the level of, like, 2018 and the weapons. God of War 2018 and the weapons, like, that level of leak that already came out a couple of months ago, and I'm not going to say what it is here because I'm not an asshole. So, yeah.
At least on video games.
Not about that.
Extremely rude. Yeah, they've a Nintendo-focused YouTuber confirmed that the link is real. that it is the entire game. This is kind of nuts, but yeah, the whole thing got leaked online. I don't have a Switch, so I won't be able to play this right away. I do actually want to play this game. I think it's really cute.
Yeah, it does.
You play Zelda.
It's on my daughter's list.
Yeah. I know it's on Chorus.
Yeah, so I got to get it. But it does look like it looks like a solid game.
But also,
It does.
if you see this game, just don't spoil anything, guys.
It's just it's. I hate when people do this.
And maybe don't play it
Yeah,
until
maybe
it's
don't
out.
encourage it.
But yeah, that sucks. Like because like Arcane 2, the second season of Arcane leaked so much, I have been too scared to even watch the trailers, thinking that could have made them over on the trailers and put out more info than I wanted. Like, leaks are...
And I watched one tutorial tip kind of thing for God of War Ragnarok, and then my YouTube algorithm went, oh, I know what you want to see. You want to see all the spoilers, right? So I got spoiled on a bunch of things that I hadn't been spoiled on for like a year and a half because I looked at one thing. So like I think it's absolutely the right thing to do. Like, don't watch any more trailers. Don't engage with any more content until you play the game, because it got leaked yesterday, and by today somebody's finished it. That's just happened.
Oh yeah, there's power gamers that are gonna like nail that
And
one.
like as a creator, it just makes me really sad because like I don't get to finish things before I release them. Like there's still more I would love to polish on everything I've ever done. But like when I think you should see it, that's when you should see it.
Yeah.
Is when I'm like, this is good enough to trust people to and forgive myself for tiny errors. Experience it as I intended.
And the downside of leaking things like that, you may not get the full completed version, as you were saying. You might get an alpha version or something. And then you've spent money to buy a bootleg version, and then you find out, oh, it's full of bugs or whatever, because it was like maybe an edition that was not supposed to be released.
Yeah, and I think the Arcane leak, their needle drops weren't on there. A lot of their music wasn't on there. A lot of their
She saw the confusion in my face. What the hell's a needle drop?
When like a really cool song plays.
Cool.
It's called a needle drop.
Okay.
A lot of their sound effects weren't in there. So it's a very pared down version of the show. I did want to say, Doc was right. Rocket League Esports World Final starts tomorrow in Fort Worth. Tickets start at $49. So if you're into Rocket League, or if you just want to have some fun, you can head there. Yeah. Also, tomorrow is Friday the 13th. So if you want to get a tattoo for cheap, you can.
We might. We'll see.
I've got a hockey mask I'm going to wear around work tomorrow, probably.
As a tattoo?
No. I could use some more ink.
Was that somewhere we haven't seen?
I could use some more ink. I kind of... What?
What?
Huh?
You said you had a hockey mask somewhere.
It's on his
Yeah.
bare ass.
Anyway.
It's on his butt.
So yeah, I have one more video game thing. Speaking of kind of like leak or unofficial-esque, I don't know how many of you guys remember Flappy Bird. So Flappy Bird came out in May 2013 on iOS, and then I think actually after that on Google, I could be wrong, and was a sensation.
Yeah.
It's mostly, I think, like a one-touch game, and it's insanely difficult. It basically, like, you're trying to keep your bird up, but its trajectory is hard, and you have to avoid the obstacles. Well, in early 2014, the creator of it, whose name what Dong Nguyen, tweeted, "I'm so sorry, Flappy Bird users, 22 hours from now, I'm taking it down. I can't take this anymore." And the next day, he took it down offline. At that point, he was earning tens of thousands a month off this game, which was a free game.
Yeah.
And he said in interviews and stuff that it was the highly addictive nature that he'd made it to be like just a fun, relaxing, spend a few minutes, and people were getting obsessed over it to like the point like somebody stabbed their brother 10 times for beating their high score. Like people went crazy over this. They were doing marathon runs of it and blah, 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 blah. there was a rumor that I don't know how verified it was that that's not what actually happened. What actually happened is Nintendo threatened him with like a cease and desist because of how similar it looks to like Mario Brothers.
Yeah, we can just go
And
back
it
to that
definitely
for a second.
does. But I don't know if that's true. But that was the rumor. Well, today I think an organization calling itself the Flappy Bird Foundation Group announced plans to re-release Flappy Bird on iOS and Android. They put out a trailer. There's supposed to be a browser version and ports to it. And like it's new models, new birds, new eggs, new all this stuff you can get as well, and new levels and all of this. They were able to get the trademark rights from Game Tech basically because Dong Nguyen didn't bother to protect them.
Oh no.
So like
I can't support that.
Here's the thing, like that I wonder about, that I genuinely wonder about. If he wasn't being threatened by Nintendo, would it matter how addictive it is anyway these days? Because people are addicted to their phones anyway. You can't reasonably say that people aren't going to play a game forever.
Yeah.
Because they already are. Like, I wonder if he would feel differently about it.
I was thinking about that, and I even looked up, Candy Crush was only about a year old when Flappy Bird came out. Like, we were in the most basic of, like, iPhone games, and now there's millions. Literally millions.
Yeah.
Of iPhone games, or, you know, smartphone games.
Some that don't even exist per their ads. But anyway.
Let me think. iPhone 2007, 2008 was 3G, 2009 3GS, 2010 4, 11 4S. So yeah, like the 4S was the first one that was decently able to do some graphics and stuff. Yeah. And then the 5 and the 5S were quite a bit, and then the screen started growing significantly after that. So yeah, that makes sense. The 4S, 5S. Their batteries were quite a bit better. That's when they released like the screen that's actually the same kind they use today that had what is it? That density of pixels that's better than your eyes could see anyway.
Yep.
That was the first one of those. Was in the 4S. So yeah.
Yeah. I will say, Doc said, is stabbing your brother for beating your high score fair though? I will remind you how angry he got at you for outshooting him that one time.
I did outshoot him. Only in the rifle.
Yeah. But like
We've had
a fair amount of sibling fights based on high school.
I've seen some fights over video games.
Yeah,
I may have
Cameron
participated
over
in one.
A video game.
It's a time-honored tradition in our family to watch somebody else play an adventuring game, like a single-player adventure game, and mock them relentlessly. Like, maybe you should be the god of farming. You know that Bible verse about hammering your sword into a plowshare? Maybe do that.
Oh, I got sucker punched by a guy back in the day playing Street Fighter II in the gas station.
Did you deserve it?
I was beating his ass and letting him know verbally I was doing it. And also, I started getting like cheap. Like, I'm only going to use this button.
I would use
he.
You remember the Sonya turned into the tiger in Killer Instinct? Yeah. I would wipe the floor with my brothers only on that, to where we had to like we started hero bands way before League of Legends with like you can't play Sonya.
I almost punched you in the face because you were bad at Donkey Kong.
That's when I think that's the funniest.
But you were too.
We were on the same team.
That's why the
Neither one of us got past the minecart stage. So
single player stuff is so funny to me because we'd mock each other even if we weren't competing. Yeah. Just sitting there trash talking. And when it was like God of War, would you like to change to a lower difficulty? Yeah. Oh, that would get you torched in my family when you died too many times.
That's some 2010 vibes.
I will also say publicly, like, I play video games over here a lot, and my wife will sit on that couch and mock me when I die, and it is the worst.
I mean, your series is called Gaming Badly.
There was literally one time I had it on my lips to say something completely disrespectful because I was mad. Like, is this what you came here to do? Like, I forgot what I was gonna say, but it was gonna be mean. And somebody popped up like and said, she will fuck you up.
It wouldn't be your first fight
And
about video games.
I'm pretty sure it was God of War that it was over, and it was them Valkyrie. Oh, it was the Valkyrie Queen.
Yeah.
Cass knew better than to try and talk
I
trash
was
to me.
silent.
Like she'd sit there and watch sometimes, but especially Sigrun, who I fought like every day for like 2 months to beat. Like she'd just be like,
COVID,
"You were
it was a
doing,
rough time."
you did so much better."
My wife fully let me know that chick was beating my ass. We're like, well, it was what I got sucker punched for at Street Fighter. It was that level of
She
mockery.
literally steps on your throat. Like,
Literally, yeah. Thank you, mother.
I mean, the day I beat her, it was like I felt free.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Cat.
She was the last thing I did in God of War, by the way. That was the last thing I had to do was kill that heifer.
Yeah.
And I hated
I
her
had
guts.
every single other like badge in the game, and I wanted to platinum
I
it, and I
think
wanted to do it on hard. I'd sought out all the ravens and killed every raven
Yes,
in the
I
game.
did too.
Ridiculous.
And like all the chests, all the whatever. It was my last
I'm not a
thing
gamer.
to platinum that game. And I don't platinum. I'm not a completionist for a lot of games, but I love that game so much that I wanted it. Yeah, it took me a month and a half.
There was
Couldn't go do anything else in the world. Everything else was done.
There was no joy after I beat her. It was just like, I'm finally free. I felt like a person in limbo passing to the afterlife.
Yeah.
I've been in purgatory. I can finally move on.
I had a huge,
Why
like,
did admission
joyous moment, but then I was like, so now what am I doing
Yeah.
with my life? What am I doing? It was in the middle of quarantine. So now I'll stare out my porch for the next 12 hours and then go to bed, I guess. I don't know.
Also, my wife berates because I play on difficult level. I play on a higher difficulty.
Yeah.
And she's like, why are you doing this? Because I have to because I'm pretty sure there's a badge for beating
you
it.
people are wild.
There's not a badge for beating it.
No.
Well, maybe there's like a badge, but you don't need it to platinum it. But I did play it on hard, not... I usually play balance.
I'll get a game and
Yeah.
she'll see me like click, click, up, and she's like, why? If it's too hard, I'll move down. I never do. I don't know. It's bragging rights to nobody but me in this room. Like, no one cares. I'm currently playing Star Wars Outlaws at normal level, though.
Okay.
Like, I'm playing that one normally.
I beat the
'Cause
first 3. When I used to replay God of War games, I beat all of them in God mode.
Yeah.
Like,
And to reiterate what a lot of people say, it's not the level that it's the fun that you're having, okay? So don't ever
Yeah.
feel like, I don't care if you play a game on easy. Video games are entertainment.
yeah, we finished Ragnarok, and I did love it enough that I started a replay through on hard. Like, I get it. It's just like new challenges. Plus, there is a thing on... They're scaling video games for hardness so much better than they used to.
Yeah.
They've made specific, like, mechanics more
It's not
punishing.
just more dudes anymore.
It's not just more people higher HP. Like, there's strategy, there's reinforcement, there's timing windows that are adjusted on difficulty level, and that's fascinating. Anyway, does anybody else have any final stories?
I think we got it all.
Well, that about takes care of it for our show then. Thank you for joining us out there. Join us again this weekend. We're going to play a little D&D.
I'm gonna
We're
punch
so
Outrun
back,
in the
baby.
face.
This has been the most confusing
gonna what?
session.
What?
What did you say?
He's really tired. It'd probably be easy.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, get wrecked.
Yeah,
So one
this-
He has-
Chance Octavia has to just murder your ass.
He could probably get hit and just sit there and say, ow,
Yeah.
I can't do anything. That's embarrassing.
This has been the
Also-
hardest session prep I've ever
My
done.
AC is 20, bitch. Come at me.
Because you guys have to get in a room and talk.
Yeah.
And then based on what you talk about, you're going to do stuff. I have no idea.
Yeah.
And I unlocked fast travel because you guys are high level now. So tune in for some chaos.
Oh, man. Level
We've got
17 heroes.
wizards that
Let's
have
go.
teleport.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, ah. Anyway, that'll
It's
be
gonna be
this
fun.
weekend
I gotta get
about
this room
3
prepped.
o'clock. And also...
Cass, cut the show. I got to get the room prepped.
Tune in next week for our first ever SCNS showdown, where we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight. It's gonna be so fun. And yeah, anything else upcoming to announce right now?
Not at the moment, I don't think.
Yeah, so if you want to follow us, you should follow us everywhere. Check out our website, supercoolnerdshow.com, and then on basically all the channels, SCNS Live. But if you want to follow us individually, I'm BetterCat on Instagram.
The good cast on Instagram.
Jason the X on Instagram.
And we will see you this weekend. And as we always like to say around here,
Keep on nerding.